A successful surgeon flies into a rage over a simple request to take out the trash. His reaction isn't about trash, it's about a ghost from his childhood that still runs the show. Imagine a man in his 40s, a successful surgeon who flies into a cold rage every time his wife asks him to take out the trash. He knows it's irrational. He knows it's just trash. Yet his throat tightens, his jaw clenches, and he feels a suffocating sense of being controlled. He is not reacting to his wife. He is reacting to a memory, a ghost from a childhood where a critical father demanded perfection and punished any deviation. That ghost is what psychologists call the inner child. For decades, it was dismissed as new age fluff. But today, a growing body of research suggests that inner child work may be one of the most potent, yet most underrated therapeutic tools available for treating anxiety, depression, and chronic relationship patterns. Critics have long argued that the inner child is just a poetic fiction, a metaphor without neural correlates. But recent advances in neuroscience are dismantling that critique. The brain does not process time in a linear fashion. When you recall a painful childhood memory, your amygdala and autonomic nervous system react as if the event is happening right now. This is state-dependent memory, documented by neuroscientist Daniel Siegel. He argues that the brain has neural net profiles laid down in childhood. When triggered by a current stressor, the entire system can regress to that earlier state, the adult disappears, and the child takes the wheel. This is not just theory. It is a measurable neurological phenomenon. A landmark study by Teicher and colleagues used MRI scans to show that adults who experienced childhood emotional neglect had measurable structural changes in their hippocampus and corpus callosum, regions critical for memory integration and emotional regulation. The study concluded that the emotional environment of the child literally shapes the developing brain. If the brain is physically altered by childhood wounds, then healing those wounds requires more than just cognitive reframing. It requires a direct address to the part of the brain that holds the pain, the inner child. This research transforms the concept from a metaphor into a biological reality, opening the door for targeted therapeutic interventions that can literally rewire the brain. Further evidence comes from the field of memory reconsolidation. Researcher Elaine Brunnett at McGill University has demonstrated that when a traumatic memory is reactivated, it becomes temporarily malleable. In that window of vulnerability, new information, such as a safe, nurturing adult presence, can be integrated, and the memory can be restored in a less distressing form. Inner child work, when done correctly, is essentially a structured protocol for memory reconsolidation. By revisiting the child in a state of adult safety, the brain can overwrite the old, terrifying script. This is not about forgetting the past. It is about transforming its emotional impact, offering a scientifically grounded path to healing. While the term inner child work is often used loosely, clinical practice has refined it into a structured methodology. Based on the work of pioneers like John Bradshaw and trauma specialists like Janina Fisher, the process breaks down into 4 distinct phases. First is recognition, identifying the wound by noticing when reactions are disproportionate. Second is validation, witnessing the pain without judgment, sitting with the inner child. Third is reparenting, actively providing what was missing, safety, protection, and unconditional love. Fourth is integration, bringing the healed child into the present, allowing the adult to live more freely. Each phase builds on the last, creating a comprehensive approach to deep emotional healing. The first step is awareness. Many adults are so dissociated from their childhood pain that they don't know they are carrying it. They simply feel broken or anxious. The work begins by identifying the specific triggers, the situations that produce a reaction disproportionate to the event. A therapist might ask, when you feel that wave of panic, how old do you feel? The answer is often revealing, I feel like I'm 5. This recognition is the opening of the door. Then comes validation. In traditional talk therapy, the focus is often on solving the problem. Inner child work prioritizes validation over solution. The adult self is taught to sit with the inner child, acknowledging its feelings without judgment. The most active phase is reparenting. The adult self must consciously provide the inner child with what it did not receive: safety, protection, permission to feel, and unconditional love. This is not about forgiving the parents or rewriting history. It is about giving the child a new experience in the present moment. A common technique is writing a compassionate letter from the adult self to the child self, offering reassurance. Research on expressive writing shows such structured emotional disclosure improves immune function and psychological well-being. Finally, integration brings the healed child into the present, allowing the adult to live without the weight of old wounds, transforming how they relate to themselves and others. If you found this exploration of inner child work valuable, consider how your own past might still be shaping your present. The ghost can be laid to rest.